So today we're going to continue working on matching the pictures to the beginning sound. Let's get started. Harold the hungry plant. And I see a plant right here. Harold the hungry plant. Some words to know: insects, jelly beans, ooze, pitcher plant, tank, tasty. One afternoon, April was doing her homework when her father brought her a present. Present. A present. He handed her a funny looking plant called a pitcher plant. This is a special plant, he told her. It eats insects. Wow, April replied. That's cool. She's impressed. April took the plant up to her room and set it on I see she's at a windowsill. This must be windowsill. She wanted it to get more sun. I'll name you Harold, she said to the plant. She began to look at the little book that came with the plant. It showed pictures of flies and spiders being eaten by the plant. April learned that she was only supposed to feed Harold once a week. So she's getting informed about Harold the plant. April went downstairs and outside. She looked around the yard and found a small, I see a little ants here, ant hill. She caught some of the ants in a jar and took them to her room. April poured the ants. That doesn't make sense. April poured the ants into the plant tank and waited. One ant crawled into the plant's pitcher and got stuck. It was trapped. It was trapped by hairs inside of the pitcher. April thought the way Harold ate insects was really strange, but she liked him. On her way out of her room, she grabbed some jelly beans from a jar on her I see a dresser. Harold saw this and wondered what a jelly bean might taste like. Flies and ants are nice, but a red jelly bean would be very nice. So he's thinking about how to get this jelly bean. Okay, let's read together. Follow along with me. You're reading along. The next time Harold saw April bringing him some ants, he thought about the jelly beans she always ate. He wanted a red one, but when she opened the lid, it was just more ants. At least They were the spicy red kind. And I see red ants in the in the illustration. The next week, April brought Harold a fat, wiggly, wiggly, wiggly. I see a worm there. Worm. She dropped the worm straight into his pitcher. It was a nice treat for Harold after only eating ants for the last few weeks, but he still wanted a red jelly bean. Well, this must be fiction, not real, because plants don't eat jelly beans. A week later, April brought Harold more insects. Harold thought about jelly beans. He thought and thought as hard as he could. Jelly beans, jelly beans, jelly beans, jelly beans. He repeated the thought over and over. April ate a couple of jelly beans before feeding Harold more insects. When April opened the lid to Harold's home, she only had a couple of small spiders. Harold was disappointed that she didn't feed him a red jelly bean, but he was very hungry. He felt grateful. He felt grateful that April fed him so well. Yet, he really wanted a jelly bean. That night, when April was going to bed, she ate a jelly bean before brushing her teeth. Then she took another one, a red one, and placed it into Harold's pitcher. Harold was so excited that his leaves, I see leaves, his leaves began to began to shake. His leaves began to shake. The jelly bean was smooth and kind of hard. As it sat inside the pitcher, it became soft and sticky. The flavor began to ooze out. It tasted so sweet, so wonderful. He felt himself glowing with joy. So I can see he's very happy. The next day, April noticed that Harold looked happy. "Hi there, Harold," she said. "You sure look happy today. Did you like the jelly bean?" Harold tried to smile by curling one of his leaves. He felt very happy. He really enjoyed his jelly bean. From that day on, Harold got one red jelly bean each week. It was a mid-week treat between regular meals. He grew bigger and stronger. Soon he was big enough to eat crickets, and grasshoppers. April and Harold were good friends. Harold even got to go to school with her once for show and tell. That day he only got a cricket to eat. A couple of days later, though, he got a green jelly bean. "Wow," thought Harold, "all the colors are tasty. As much as Harold loved all the colors of jelly beans, red ones were still his favorites. The end.